line system, and all trains are today run on what we call green electricity from water power and wind power. And the goal for 2011 or 1st of January 2012 is that 50% of all buses shall use renewable fuels. And we're a little bit before the plan, so 56% of the buses today are on renewable fuels. And in 2025, the most important goal is that all public transportation should be fossil-free in Stockholm. Yeah, just shortly, the goals for this year, 50%. We have exceeded that with 6%. All electricity from green electricity. And we have also ambitious goals for heating, and we're also working very much now on making the operation more energy efficient. So we found that there are 3 good alternatives when we're talking about renewables. Firstly, ethanol. And ethanol is what we are talking very much about today. Biogas and biodiesel. We have the longest experience from ethanol. We've been using ethanol since late 1980s. And it is a little bit, well, it's not similar as fossil fuel diesel, but it's liquid, and we can use almost the same infrastructure. And that makes things easier compared to if we are dealing with a gas, for instance. And we introduced ethanol. You will probably hear a little bit more about this later during this session. But we introduced ethanol together with a cooperation together with SCANIA in the 1980s. We started in a small scale. It was a test, and when the test proved successful, we stepwise introduced more buses in Stockholm. And of course, as it always is when you introduce something new, there are some small problems, and we've solved most of them together with operators and together with the producer of the buses. So today SL has the world's largest ethanol bus fleet. We have 660 buses that are run on ethanol. It's a little bit more than 30% of all buses, 32% of the bus fleet. And 50% of the ethanol that we use is Brazilian sugarcane, produced from sugarcane, and locally produced the rest of the ethanol that we use. You can see the same here, the share and the development over the years. Today, more than 50% of the traffic, as I mentioned before, is on renewable fuels. And the main part is on ethanol. What about the cost? This graph doesn't say that much, but I can tell that today we are not far from a break-even situation with the cost running the buses. Then, of course, we take into consideration the prices we are paying, the investments for the bus, the maintenance of the bus, and all that things. So we've learned a lot, and that means also that the costs have come down. And with raising oil prices, the situation will be much better. And the environmental effect is quite good. We have reduced the CO2 emissions by 20,000 tons a year. A lot of particles and NOx that we heard before are very harmful. And what about the future? We have the goals for the future. So we, of course, will continue this process. Until 2020, more than 700 buses net, because the bus must not be very old in Stockholm. The average age for a bus is 7-8 years. So we are reinvesting also in ethanol buses. We haven't decided yet exactly what buses it will be for the future, but it will probably be many ethanol buses, some biogas buses, and we'll see what biodiesel can do in the future. And hybrids. We talked about the goals being more energy efficient. So we're focusing on that. Okay, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Lennart. Now we have Christopher Podgorski.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. 2 weeks ago, São Paulo, as the first city in Brazil and in Latin American continent, took a major step towards a full sustainable transport solution when the first ethanol buses came into service. And this was just the tip of an iceberg driven by city legislation that mandates a full replacement of the 15,000 city buses until 2018 to buses powered by renewable and non-fossil fuel. Behind these ethanol buses, there is an exciting and remarkable journey. A journey that started here in sugarcane country, got speed in the Swedish capital of Stockholm, continues around the world, and is now back to Brazil. This journey was initiated in the late 70s when Scania's first ethanol engines in modern times was developed in Brazil. 2 buses and 56 trucks were converted for ethanol and tested. Many of them were transporting sugarcane among the Brazilian ethanol producers, as some of you might remember. However, the operations were terminated and Scania took the ethanol engine over the Atlantic to Sweden, where the business opportunities in those days seemed more promising. Research on ethanol engines for buses was intensified in the mid-80s when the public transport company of Stockholm decided to begin the transition to renewable fuels. The population of Scania ethanol buses in operation has grown over the years, and today there are no longer any buses running in the inner part of the city of Stockholm. And close to 1,000 Scania ethanol buses are in operation around the world today. The Stockholm case shows that these ethanol buses can be instrumental in cleaning up the traffic. According to the public transport company, they reduce more than 120,000 tons of fossil CO2, some 900 tons of fossil NOx, nitrogen oxides, and approximately 25 tons of particulates during the first 15 years of operation. Imagine these environmental improvements in a city 10 times bigger than Stockholm. During these last 2 decades, Scania and the city of Stockholm have proven 3 important things. It is possible to reduce emissions from traffic with existing technology. Ethanol is a fuel that can be used in large-scale commercial operations immediately. To wait 1 or 2 decades for other technology or a new generation of biofuels is the wrong approach. Biofuels are cost-effective in terms of total costs. 4 years ago, President Lula of Brazil, on a state visit to Sweden, made a tour in one of Scania's new ethanol buses together with the Swedish King Carl Gustaf. This resulted in a decision that one ethanol bus would be put into service in São Paulo in a test coordinated by biofuel experts of the University of São Paulo. The ethanol engine for heavy vehicles made the journey back to Brazil. The new bus test in São Paulo was done within the frame of the BEST project, Bioethanol for Sustainable Transport, a project that promotes a large-scale use of ethanol in commercial fleet vehicles. The BEST project in São Paulo generated a positive response from operators, drivers, as well as passengers. Excellent reliability of the buses and no major problems related to the new fuel. Passenger surveys showed an overwhelmingly positive attitude towards exchanging diesel to ethanol buses. And 2 weeks ago, as mentioned in my introduction, we started deliveries to our customers here in São Paulo. VIAÇÃO Metropolitana was the first. And today, I can tell you, Tupi Transportes Urbanos Piratininga has just purchased 10 15-meter long ethanol buses for their services in this city. And more information on this at our press conference here immediately after this panel. Sustainable transport often require not only new fuels, but also new infrastructure, new regulations, new legislations. It therefore sometimes can feel difficult to change into greener and cleaner transport solutions, but not anymore. Today, the researchers and development engineers of Scania think and work with one major question in mind. How do we build more complete, sustainable, and integrated urban transport systems in our cities? Instead of developing and selling buses, we offer full concepts for sustainable urban transport, and they are available today, here and now. Here in Brazil, we call it BRS Verde da Scania, Green BRS by Scania. That stands for Bus Rapid System with ethanol as a fuel. It is cost-effective and smart solution for providing mobility in cities where it is not possible to install a complete BRT system. The investment in infrastructure is significantly less than for a full BRT system. Without the need for extensive infrastructure, a BRS system can be installed relatively quickly and could, as an example, be the sustainable solution for public transport in any of the venue cities of the coming World Cup 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, sustainable and attractive public transport is an important challenge for the coming years, especially for big cities in fast-developing countries such as Brazil. To achieve the necessary steps towards a full sustainable transport solution, all stakeholders have to integrate and cooperate. With the process leading up to the new ethanol buses here in São Paulo, as an example, this is what has to be done. Scania provided the ethanol chassis while the bodies were built by local companies. Investments and changes were made at